Howdy chaps, and welcome back to another fantastic episode. And this one, you're going to be tickled pink because we're talking XW. But first, I will discuss what's happened in the last couple of weeks. So, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, I went back out to Nuriupta to old Dudley Hines' yard, that big yard. It's a bit like the Flynn's one except more disorganised. And they're clearing that yard out like you wouldn't believe. And the last day of operation is going to be the 28th of October. So if you need, and if you're in South Australia and you need classic, like from the 20s up to the 80s, mainly old Holden and old Ford stuff, and quite a lot of Valiant stuff, get up that yard before it's all gone, because Scammels will be auctioning it all off. Early November-ish, they're pulling any car that doesn't break in half and lining it up, trucks and cars and everything, and they're going to be auctioning it all off. So I'll put it to you this way. I got cars out of that yard 5 years ago. They're not that good. Like if you want a project, probably not the greatest place to find a car to restore because they're really bad. But if you wanted a car for parts, great place. Just thought I'd put that out there. That's where I was last weekend, and I went and visited a friend who's restoring a B-25, which is a big World War II aircraft, which was doing a fantastic job, and that's going to be flying once it's finished, obviously. And then I went to an auction as well on that Saturday. Gee, I had a busy weekend. And I bought some stuff for the green machine here, and I'll run you through that in a minute. And if you're making it this far through the intro, I have been sort of stuck with the territory. I sold the ute, that's gone. The new owners of that tickled pink because that ute was really, really good. I know people poo on Holdens, but it was pretty good. No fault codes, nothing. It's been a while since somebody rocked up to look at a car with the Holden computer, the Tech 2, and plugged it in and found there was not a single fault code. They were telling me that they'd looked at 20 cars and it was the only one with 0 fault codes, and no codes had ever been cleared. And that ute was perfect. But then I had the territory for sale, as you all know, and you know it's bad when not even French backpackers will buy it. That, and I told them that no, it probably won't make it to Victoria because it did have quite a few issues, which I have been fixing. I'm actually forgetting that I actually bought that car originally with crash damage, and I've done that, and now I've spent so much time under it that I've forgotten that I actually had already fixed the front of it. And I'll just run you through. I've done the right hand upper ball joint, the right hand upper bushings, the right hand radius rod and bushings, the right hand control arm lower and all its bushings, the right hand drive shaft, as we all know, hub and bearings. I have done the front diff bushings, and if you know territories you will know that they are a pain, and everybody says you can't do them with the cradle in, and I can assure you, yes you can, and it sucks. And some very choice words were in fact uttered during the process. Mind you, if you are going to use an original style, no, you have to take the cradle out, but I used the Nolathane style, which is in 2 halves, and it did make it just possible to do it with the cradle in. But pay someone else to do it, for God's sake. I'm just poor, so I did it myself. And then I did the rear diff bush, and I've done one of the rear blade bushings, and I put tyres on it, and I had the front brakes machined, and I had the rear uni joint that's just behind the centre bearing replaced because whoever did the centre bearing screwed up the uni joint. So, and it's had a new battery. Yes, that territory is consuming my funds like it's going out of fashion. I'll put up a little meme that my brother made right now. And it's kind of hurtful. But yeah, I'll chuck up some photos of the diff bushings and where they are in the scheme of things, so you can get just an idea. And by the way, you can't move the diff that much to get them in, so it's a bit of a funky way to get them in. So yeah, if you get the gist of that, that's not a fun job. Pay someone else, or don't buy territory. That second one's probably the best option. Anyway, oh, and I'll throw up some photos of the yard at Nuriupta, by the way. There's not too many, but there you go. So there's that. Just keep your beady eyes peeled for that one. Be aware that project cars and cars that are good, very, very few and far between. I think there was about 1,500 cars in that yard originally, and they reckon they've sold about 300 to 400 now, recently in the last couple of weeks. And I don't know how many are going to be in the auction, but there's going to be a fair bloody few. I've got my eye on a couple, but we'll just have to see how the dice roll. But there's that. Right, now, straight into the XW. Slight side topic, this is the stuff for the territory on the left-hand front, sorry. So I've got the lower control arm, lower radius rod, upper bushings, upper ball joint, because obviously when you buy these arms, which are quite cheap in the scheme of things, they come with the bushings already fitted and the ball joint, so, and the radius rod has that too, and the new arms. So if you're doing one of these territories, this is the best and probably cost effective and least effort required, because all you have to do is unbolt them and bolt them in. You don't have to try and change all the bushings. But there's that. So here we go, ladies and gentlebeards. I have to zoom out a bit. There we go. Now you might go, hey, that car looks a little bit better than it did. What did you do? Well, I'll tell you a tale and a half. In the auction just recently, I bought the only boot lid that was in there, and it is rust free. And I don't know if that's off a real GT, but it certainly was badged up as one once upon a time. You can just make out 351 GT and where the Falcon letters once were. So Falcon, and kind of cool, it was off an XW, because that's the XW GT paint scheme on the boot lid, and it has a spoiler. And I was like, but I will probably fit a spoiler. I don't know actually if that's quite where they go as far as the spoiler locations. To me, that actually looks just a touch too far forward, because I would have thought literally there, not there. So you just back a smidge. Doesn't matter, play it by ear, but I mean it's better than that boot lid. I did have a viewer lined up who had a boot lid that was quite good, but a little bit of miscommunication went on between him and me. Not bad communication, just Facebook Messenger was being rather glacial that day, and by the time I had confirmation from him, I had already bought this boot lid, because I was like, and I didn't really want to miss out on a boot lid no matter what. So don't know what I'm going to do there, but I still will help him, because he would like some panel alignment on his car, so I'm more than happy to go help him with that once we line our ducks up. But I have got a boot lid now, and I also won a pair of rear doors, this one and that blue one, that door is utterly rust free. There's not a drop of rust in it, and they're not rusted out in the frames. God, that made me happy. Also, I mean, clearly it's going to require some work because it's got surface rust on it. I also bought a set of XT Falcon doors. Now, this door is not great. Clearly it does have some rust in it. It's not too bad though. But considering the other door that I had for this side was terrible, this is a marked improvement. I have not aligned it properly either because I think the striker needs to go down a bit, and we've still got this gaping hole issue. And I wanted to get some tail lights, but I wasn't willing to pay $320 for a pair. And this was the other door that was with that grey door. It's an XY door or an XW door, and it's got a little bit of rust in it, but gee, it's nice. That's not that hard to fix. That doesn't bother me. Obviously I've got a brand new front door, and I probably may still put another new door on the other side, but rear doors, you can't buy the doors, you can only buy the skins. So that's why I was chasing really good doors. And look, frame isn't toasted either, and it's in quite exceptional condition. I still it's got a drink container inside it, but inside there's a window rag and all the stuff. Fits beautifully. This one, is that shut? Yeah, it's got no rubbers there. Oh, I love it. So I got this door, and I'm probably going to run this door, mainly because I know I just put the skin on the other door, but the other door had pretty bad rust in the frame, and this is not that easy to fix. So I mean, yes, I had the thing and I was going to make do if I got stuck, but I did get these for not cheap, but a good price compared to what, you know, spending ages fixing one door would be like. So that was pretty good. And obviously my theory goes, always buy the best item or vehicle you can at day one, pay more at day one and get something better, because it will be way cheaper in the long run. I have a friend, and he bought a XY running and driving for like $2,500, and I think to myself going, oh, you got $2,500, I didn't realise you bought a $100,000 car. You just don't know it yet, but it's going to be. Yeah, it might be cheap, but it's bad. Now, right, so I have some spare doors. Hit me up if you're interested, but I do have them on Marketplace currently, so I don't know if they'll hang around forever. But the two rear doors I've currently got for sale, and they're both in exceptionally good condition. They have a little bit of damage where the catch is. I reckon they were on a car that got rear-ended, where the catch was just punched in slightly, but realistically you could pull the catch out and then hammer it out and problem solved. But they are in exceptionally good condition. That door is 100% complete too, right down to its door trim. And look, nobody's ever taken the handle off because it's still got the blank that covers it, and that's what I mean. That's the same as XWXY with the handle squeezes, whereas XR doors are slightly different. And they've still got their XT door mouldings, which, actually I was just looking at them just then, are actually in quite good condition. I think maybe that one's got a slight dent in it, but it's not too bad. Or maybe not. But if somebody did want to buy just the mouldings, I would just pull the one off the other door because I'm not going to use them. I do think it's a bit of an odd spot for where a body side moulding can go, but it's just kind of cool in its own little way. It's like the designer went, no, I'm going to put them up here, trust me, it'll look good. Next model, they're down the bottom. I got out-talked. Also, I don't know what this is, but I bought another lot for $80 because it had an XW tail light in it. And I got an assortment of things, some Mini, some Mustang, and a few Holden Ford bits. I'm giving one of them to Peter Anderson because it was the conversion that you need for making an auto console into a manual console for an XB. It's the insert that goes in the center. Apparently really hard to get. I also got this in the goodies pile. I believe that's a 71 or 73, I think it's 73 actually, Mark 1 Mustang instrument cluster. So if you've got one of those, hit me up. I don't know what to do with it. Also, walking around here in the room full of junk, I've got a Mustang windscreen, brand new, and a rear windscreen. I don't know, I think it's out of a fastback. I don't know which windscreen it is. If somebody knows the codes, you can let me know. But I have have managed to acquire, I don't know, I didn't even want them, but they're here now. So I think, I don't know, but they're in around 1960, 65-ish, 66 Mustang door glass. I know they're Mustang door glass because of the chrome moldings, but there's 2 sets that look like those, and there's 1 set that look like that, clearly set. So I don't know what to do with them, and I don't know who to sell them to or give them to or whatever. And that's just plexiglass, happened to be cut to the same shape. But interesting to note, it's actually a bit shorter, so I just don't know what to do with this Mustang stuff. I don't know anybody who's got a 60s Mustang. I mean, it's better than having modern Mustang stuff, but still, I just don't know what to do with it. And back on this, you might notice the roof skin is sitting on top. That's because Dad has finished bare metaling it, and we put Epitech on it and made it all sealed up. So come with me on a journey of discovery. It's looking a little bit bare because we got the skin off. Now, there is multiple ways to do this. I didn't feel like drilling out the insane number of spot welds along the edge, because that makes, you know, the lip just pretty much is just holes. So on this one, I flipped the roof upside down and I actually sanded through the gutter until the roof skin was exposed, and then it all came apart. So on the car, I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to leave the gutter on, but cut the roof skin off, and then grind the old roof out of the gutter, so that when they go together, it's, you know, like factory. I also need to get this piece out because I need that small section for that car. I don't need the back. I'm going to try and save the wiring because these are all like Fairmont wires for the rear courtesy lights. Yes, that's the one. And I'm probably going to need to get this front beam out of here because that one on that car is actually bent. Well, it's a little bit bent. This has obviously had some repairs in the past. And I need to get this out because that one's straight and that one on the other car isn't. And I'm going to need to salvage most of this side here because, one, this is in exceptionally good condition, and the top part of this for that car, because obviously, as you well know, somebody hacked the snot out of it. This thing's coming along quite nicely. I've been doing some floor work. I've been spending quite a bit of time on the floor of this thing because this car has actually got a surprisingly large number of issues with its floor pan. Did that one yesterday in about 10 minutes flat because that's real easy. But it's coming along. Still got this issue to deal with. Yikes. So I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do today, but we have dug this out of its hole. I was thinking we might maybe cut the old roof off, but I think I need to just trying to figure out how to do videos again, because I have, you know, when you take a break and you can't remember how to go back to it. I'm thinking to myself, there's no catch and I can just open it. Wah! I'm thinking about having to cut some of this away to expose the inner one and try and get that piece back in. So it's a bit of a shame that someone's cut through the gutter, but you know, you get that on big jobs. I'm just a bit worried about, in my own head, if I cut the skin off, how much structure that's actually holding the car together, like whether or not this will go flimsy, although it's pretty sturdy, whether it'll go flimsy without the roof skin on. That's my theory. Also, look at the gutters on these things, absolutely perfect. So like I was discussing before, I'll cut the roof through there, just there, and then take the basic roof off, and then I'll grind in this gutter the roof skin out of here to leave the gutter itself, which comes down under and then goes up underneath the roof. And then when this goes back together, this can just drop straight down in there, and I'll put some panel bond along across there, and it'll be all good. Weld it front and back and put panel bond in the groove, and that'll be all done, and it'll be as good as factory, because panel bond is strong as buggery. Shame about that door being rusty, but you know, whoops, too far. Gone too far this time. And yes, I kept that for bits, but I've got to sort this issue out still. Yeah, it's a real shame about this roof. I'm going to keep, when I take this apart, I might keep this corner, because obviously this corner's gone, and I can use this corner to repair this corner. I'll just straighten it up, put it back in. But yes, it's all going along rather well. So I know I took a bit of a break on this car for a bit, because, well, I've got the tank coming up. That needs to actually get some motoring done soon. Like, it actually needs to be finished, because Corowa Swim-In, which is the big military event in March next year, is only 5 months away, and this tank is going there finished. So I need to get my finger out, as per se, and get it done. I actually made the other pistol port up there. Haven't actually made it hinge up yet, but it's looking pretty good. So I've been busy. I'm just doing some detail work on this thing, just making the lip that goes here, and then I've got to flip it over and put another piece through it. And yeah, I was just messing around with it, doing other little detail stuff. So, and I've been repairing my tyres with urethane, and they're going to require some shaping, clearly, but I think this is a good short-term solution for my tyres, because that is solid urethane. That's like 5 tubs of tubes of urethane right there, and it's still soft, but it's getting harder. But considering there was literally no tyre there before, that's pretty good. It just takes so long to dry, but it, like over this tyre, I've done some dry, and it's absolutely hard as hell. So it just takes time, and in the cold weather it takes even longer. So yeah, that's coming along, that's coming along, that's coming along, and that's coming along. So let's have, yeah, you can tell I've got no real game plan, do you? Just been so hectic. Right, what do we do first? I think I'm going to not cut the whole roof off in one go, but I am going to repair that C-pillar on the left hand side. I reckon that's what we start doing today. Alright, see you in a sec. Alrighty, so we need to work out some sort of game plan, because I'll admit, when you come across this kind of stuff, I'm winging it. Like, you know, you get rust and there's a certain way to do things, but if you get to something like this, that somebody has had a whale of a time, and you know it's probably stupid, you know, they probably only cut that out to get the gutter off it. Really? But anyway, I know a guy and I can fix it. So I'm not going to take the roof off completely, but I will cut it back significantly bigger than the inner frame here. So yeah, like I said, when fixing rust there is a certain procedure, but when you get stuff like this, there ain't no procedure, and it's a bit of a Why did somebody do this? Why would you do? Why would you do this to me? So there's no real game plan, so I'm gonna have to wing it. And it's like, let's try and fix what's left. Clearly, I need to go back further to get access to the inner because they've cut straight through the pair of them with a 3mm cutting disc. Quite a long time ago. Thank God they didn't cut all the way through like the other on the other side. They'd cut all of the inner off as well, which I don't know, almost killed the car because the roof was a bit saggy with that. But luckily the inner's here, and they've left this sort of channel here, which actually you'd be surprised is actually keeping quite a lot of strength. So, we're gonna have to do some digging. I might just take this section of the roof off because, well, I don't really need it, but I know the front and the back are still holding, so I can drill out those spot welds there and take out the welds that they put in. It's like they didn't trust their own spot welds, but anyway. And we can zip off this section of roof here and expose the top, and then probably go down here. We do want to keep as much of this as possible because that's the quarter panel. And this is where the Fairmont badge goes. And I still don't know how I'm going to build this car, so I don't know if I want to make them disappear just yet, but the other side were gone, so I don't know if I'd take it or leave it. I need to go through here and probably there and just expose it so I've got something to weld to. So come with me on a journey of discovery. I had a cracking idea. I know how to fix this. One of these mini stickers. All fixed. That is so not how you fix it, but I thought it was a laugh. Alright, flip this around. Right, now this is going to solve, well, it's not going to solve anything really, because there's about 1,000 ways to fix something and there's 200 ways to do it now. I don't know if this is going to focus, but you see this drill bit? That's a spot weld drill bit. It's like a drill bit, but it's flat on the top with a little point. That's a spot weld drill bit. Now there are two types. You got this style, and you got the hole saw style, which is like a little tiny hole saw, and the bit's got a little spring in the tip of it, and it's got a thing you can pull off and flip around. Now I am fully trade qualified, despite what the rumours may lead you to believe. I have done my time through trade school and TAFE and all that stuff, and my time in crash shops, and not once have I ever seen any of the 100 or so panel beaters I've worked with in the past ever use anything other than one of these. Because these are the way to go. You can resharpen these. I think the other hole saw style you can, but this is the sort of preferred method for most crash shops. And by most, I think nearly all of them. I've never seen anybody use the other style. I don't like the other style because I think they go blunt really easily. And I've never liked the springiness in the end of them. It's hard to keep it like, you got it. It just doesn't work. These are just so much better. If you want a spot weld drill bit, that's what you buy. It's a drill bit with a flat top and a point on the end of it. Now I'm sure there's going to be people out there, old school people, who are going to go, oh, you're wrong, blah 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 blah. You don't actually have to listen to anything I say. It's just my opinion. So this is what I use, and this is what everybody I've ever encountered who's been in crash shop uses. And it's also what I was trained to use through TAFE. So that's what I use. You can use whatever makes you tickles your fancy, but this is what I use, and it works rather well. The only downside is watch out when you're drilling through rust and high strength steel. It makes them go blunt really fast. So I'm going to speed. Ooh, look at this! Oh, and I've killed yet another Ryobi battery. You wouldn't think this drill is only a couple of months old, but anyway, enough. Ramblings, and there's 200 opinions on every single item out there these days, but that's what I prefer, and this is what, if you're interested in what I use, there it is there. I'm now going to drill these out. I'm going to speed it up a little, and then I'm going to remove that section. I just realised I'm probably going to have to go get my belt sander to get those out. But anyway, I'll get the spot welds out. Always wear hearing protection and eye protection at the bare minimum. Right, I'm now going to go get a belt sander for those two. Alright, this is another tool. It's a mini belt sander, or a linisher. It depends on where you are from. And you might notice this is the cheap brand from Super Cheap because, well, I've had the expensive stuff. I've destroyed the expensive stuff, and considering how often I destroy the expensive stuff, I'd rather destroy the cheap stuff over and over and over and over again. So I'm onto my third or fourth belt sander. And that's after destroying a Snap-on branded first one. I don't think Snap-on or Worth are actually any good in the scheme of things. Like, they're not worth the money that they ask for things. The sockets and ratchets and stuff, pretty good, but the air tools are so not worth the squeeze. Just buy a cheapie from Super Cheap. If it dies, you've lost 80 bucks. Go get another one. It's that simple. So now I'm going to belt sand out these little guys, and then I'm going to separate them with my hammer and chisel, which is also quite handy. Handy. Anyway, I'm going to put my headphones on and do this, and you can tag along. Alright, I'll bring you in closer. Closer? Closer, Kyle. There we go. Right. Oops, is that going to work? That's probably better, isn't it? Can see everything now, can't you guys? And if you're slightly tilted, I'm not fixing that. You're on your own. Just turn your head sideways. So, we've now exposed some of the inner frame here, and the fluff. Oh, the fluff. Now. We are going to have to very carefully slice down here. Oops, I wobbled you a little bit. And across here, I think. And yes. We're going to have to figure it out as we go. I don't know how much I'm going to get done on this video, guys, because I realised at the beginning where I was rambling, there's quite a lot of it. And if the video is excessively long, well, it takes a bloody long time to edit and upload. So I don't know how much further I'm going to go with this. Plus, I haven't got the other thing ready yet, so probably after this, I might have to call it a day, or at least on this thing, and do other things. But anyway, you can come with me on the end of this, and just bear in mind that the next few videos are going to be pretty XW focused. Right. I think we're going to have to slice down there, cut there, and see how it's looking. Obviously, when we change the roof, when this comes off, we're going to clean up. If that's any good, I may or may not change that for a non-bent one. Just depends how it comes out. But we're going to make sure that this is all treated before I put the roof on, because, well, when in Rome. So. Right. I'll move the camera out of the way so I don't kill it with sparks, and then keep going, eh? Right, so I'm going to show you the ins and outs of this stuff. So as I cut that, yeah, the keen observers would have gone, hey, that moved slightly. It sure did. So that was only a 1mm cutting disc, and it's moved to probably 2mm there, or maybe more. So that whole inner frame moved ever so slightly, which tells me it's missing quite a lot of its structure, because so what I'm going to do off camera later, because it won't be in this video, because I'm probably going to wrap it up in a second, is I'm going to re-weld that just back to there, to the thickness of that cutting disc, to put that frame back to where it was. And then once I make this new piece in here, I will then comfortably be able to recut that, and it won't move, because all of this is missing. It's not holding it there anymore. So the only thing that was holding it there was that spot weld. So if you do that, you'll notice it pulls actually a fair bit of tension into the roof. So this goes this way, this comes down. So it's very crucial not to go too nuts too early when you're doing restorations, especially when they're this bad. So I also tell people, don't hack your whole car apart, do it in small stages. Yeah, so that pushes it back a little bit. So it does. It's only very minor. It probably wouldn't even affect it in the slightest, because I don't know how to tell you, these cars are built like crap. I'm telling you, nothing is ever lined up. They're all, that'll do, close enough, who cares, move on. I've measured these cars, and they're one side's longer than the other, and on many occasions things are overlapped where they shouldn't be. The tolerance of these cars is like 15mm on most things. It's quite a lot. So that's why they don't actually, you don't have to stress too much about them, you know, when you're putting things back together, because yeah, they've got quite a lot of tolerance in them built in, because they're not good. And I hate people who say, oh, they don't build them like they used to. That's right. Cars are built better than they used to. Like, the number of spot welds on one side can be vastly different to the other side, depending on who the hell was on the one side of the car compared to the other. You'll get multiple spot welds in one spot. Like some people just going to town or didn't care at the time. I don't know who was building these cars, but they didn't care. Well, they did, but some didn't. So you get huge variations in them. So there's my opinion on them. I don't think old cars are built well at all. Modern cars, perfect. Machines build them. Machines don't make mistakes. Machines don't get tired. So, right, I think that'll wrap it up for this video, because it's probably going to be fairly long. You people tell me if this is how you like them, like with the in-depth stuff, or do you like the catch-ups, or what? I've yeah, sometimes I lose the will to do videos, and I sometimes will do things without filming, because filming stuff takes way longer. But I'd like to keep you along for this one. So if you like this, let me know. And I hopefully, all going well, we'll be here next weekend to finish this, or at least I want to be able to have the other roof, all the boring stuff ready to go, so that we can actually put that piece in here in the next video, if you know what I mean. So that's actually half the reason I'm going to cut it short, is because it takes a long time to get all this stuff apart, and it's much easier if I get it apart off screen and then bring it here and we can actually put it together on camera, if that makes sense. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So that's 90% of the reason why I'm cutting it short, and 2, I've got other things I need to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode and a bit of a catch up, and look forward to a lot more of this.